Hi guys, Tracy here with another Q&A video. I got a couple more questions from people, and I also got a couple requests to do more of these kinds of videos, so I don't mind using this as my way of responding to people. It's actually quite a bit easier because I don't go on my computer very much other than to make videos. So here I am making a video. My first question that I have here is about project life. I actually got a couple of questions, several questions over the past couple of weeks as January starts. I think lots of people are starting the project for the first time, and a lot of people are kind of coming back to the project who did it last year and trying to figure out how to make it work for them this year, maybe differently or maybe doing the same thing. So the main question that I've received is, how do I keep up with project life? A lot of people, it wasn't always a question. Some people were just kind of saying, you know, I'm thinking about doing project life. I've been watching your videos. I'm a little apprehensive about starting because I'm not sure if I'll be able to keep up and that sort of thing. And so I thought I'd just make a comment about what I do to keep up, because I don't really think about it in terms of being behind or caught up. I think about it more as just a process that I enjoy. I tried to stop pocketed scrapbooking last year. I don't know if you guys remember. Some of you who've been watching my channel for a while might remember that last year I said, you know, my 2012 project life, which really was project life. I used a lot of Becky Higgins products. I did use a lot of my own products as well, but it was very much kind of in line with the way that Becky Higgins talks about project life, where you know, and I think she talks about it as a very flexible system that you can use in lots of different ways, but I was using it more in the traditional way, where I had one spread over a 1 week period, and every week I tried to do a spread, and I really liked doing that, and I liked the final product, but I was kind of feeling very worn out at the end of the 12 months. And so I thought about not doing it, and I actually kind of made a video saying, sorry guys, I'm not going to be doing this anymore. And then after about 3 weeks, I was missing it so much that I went back to it, and I just decided to kind of redefine the way that I do it. So last year what I did was I did more of just kind of putting stuff into pockets whenever I felt like it, and that was kind of what I called it, project putting stuff into pockets. And, you know, if I didn't get everything, it didn't really matter. And if I forgot stuff, it didn't really matter. I enjoy gluing stuff to stuff, and writing stuff down and adding in pictures. And so I just used it for that. And I'm much more of a process type of a scrapbooker than I am a documentation and capturing memories type of a scrapbooker. So for me, that's what works for pocketed scrapbooking, is just kind of using it as a smaller medium. Like, you know, you've got this 4x6 card or a 3x4 card, and you just kind of use it as a smaller canvas to work on, right? So that's how I do it, and because I do it that way, I don't really care if I miss. So it's not even about keeping up, and so that's how I do it. But everybody has to find a system that works for them. But I really recommend that everybody doing this project, you know, kind of take it easy on yourselves, and you know, whatever system you use, whether you use something similar to me or something like someone else is using, as far as how you think about the project and keeping up and that sort of thing. I think it's really important that we're easy on ourselves and that we don't put a whole lot of stress on ourselves, because this is supposed to be a hobby, and you know, you want to use it as a way to relax and recharge your batteries, so that when you're done scrapbooking and you put it all away, you have rejuvenated yourself in a way by being creative, and then you get to kind of move on with your life and do the less creative things that are involved in being, you know, a mother or a wife or a woman or a man or whatever it is that you do. So for that reason, I think that everybody really needs to come up with a system that works for them and then stick to it no matter what everybody else is doing. So that's just my thoughts on that. So then the next question, and then also, I meant to say, if anybody else has any ideas about how they keep up with scrapbooking or with like pocketed scrapbooking or Project Life or whatever it is that you're doing, feel free to leave comments below this one, and maybe we can get some discussion going on, and people can benefit from everybody else's ideas. And there's lots of videos out on YouTube right now, because it's the beginning of January, of people who are kind of explaining their approach to Project Life and how they do it and how they store it and all that kind of stuff. So, do a YouTube search and have a look at what other people are doing too, because I'm just doing it my way, but there's lots of other ways. So, sorry. Hang on. I'm trying to not cough. Okay, so Melissa, I don't know if I want to say people's last names, but I mean, she commented publicly. So Melissa Shea, thank you so much, Melissa Shea. She gave me a pretty detailed, actually, hang on. Let me find it. I'm going to press pause here and then I'll find it. Okay, so Melissa Shea, I found her email. It says, I didn't read through all the comments, but just this weekend, I had to comb through Google Plus and make sure my YouTube settings, in brackets, I think under privacy, were correct. You have to select that your YouTube comments are made public and that the public can reply to your comments. Hope that helps. That does, well, it doesn't help me in particular, but I wanted to share that with everybody because I know that this is a common problem here on YouTube where we're not able to comment consistently. I have been able to comment the last couple of times that I've tried, but then the very last time that I tried, I wasn't able to. So mine seems to be hit or miss. I think there might be something just like wrong with my account or something. And you can ask YouTube people for help, but they don't really reply or anything. I'm not really expecting a reply. But anyway, so I did kind of do this and everything was set the way that I think it should be set. But what I might do is just kind of go in and play with those settings, or I don't know, maybe what I did was I kind of set everything differently and then saved it and then went back in and saved everything the right way just to see if it would kind of like I don't know. Anyways, thank you so much for sharing that piece of information because I didn't know that even existed and I'm really not familiar with Google Plus at all. So thank you, and I really wanted to share it with my other viewers because they might find it helpful. So thank you so much, Melissa Shea. Cindy commented on a very old layout of mine called Maya, and I can't comment. I can't reply to her comment. She wanted to know what I use for the paint splotches on that layout and how to make bigger splotches. So I don't have that layout handy. I'm not able to find it, but I'm going to show you what I do use. A lot of scrapbookers are familiar with these products, but if you're new to scrapbooking or if you aren't a scrapbooker but just wanting to know how to do paint splotches, I will show you. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways that you can make splatters. I'm going to talk about the easiest products to use, which are these kinds of mists that you can buy. They're a scrapbooking product. Well, this one is not. This one is called Tumble Dye, and I think it is for dyeing fabric. Yep, it's for dyeing fabric, and you can get it at Michael's or a craft supply place. It's by SEI, and it is like a liquidy dye type of substance. And then I like this Heidi Swapp Color Shine, which is, hang on, I'm supposed to have better light here these days. Oops, there you go. I'll get used to this with practice. So this is what the Heidi Swapp Color Shine looks like. And it's maybe $5 or $6 a bottle in Canada. And then there's this Mr. Huey's, which is another product that is a mistable kind of ink that you can, and so what you've seen me doing on my videos, and I really don't want to get ink all over my computer keyboard and computer table, but is I just kind of open it up and then little bits hang on the dropper and I kind of tap it and it falls all over my layout. So that's the way that I make my droplets, is just by using the little nozzle, the little piece of plastic tubing that goes inside of the nozzle. All three of these products have that kind of a nozzle. The other thing that I've done in the past is you can buy these before I had many mists, because the mists are quite expensive to collect like a variety of different colors. And I already had a whole bunch of craft paints, like just acrylic craft paints. And so what you can buy is these, I'm going to show you the label for it. It is a Ranger product, or maybe a Tim Holtz product. It's called a Mini Mister, and it is by Ranger. And what I did with these, this one looks like it's dried up. It's been a long time since I've used it, but these other ones are not dried up. So this one is a brown. And what I did was I put a little bit of acrylic paint inside of the tube, and these come empty, right? So I put a little bit of acrylic paint in the tube, and then I filled it with water to about there, and then I put alcohol in the rest of it. The reason I added alcohol is just a tiny bit of alcohol, is because it helps it to dry a little bit faster. And then I kind of just shake it up. It's all, like, it hasn't been used in a long time, so it's all separated. But it gives you a nice paint-like drop as well. And it's less liquidy than these kinds of inks that I just showed you, the mists. And it dries a little bit more, like if you were to put an actual paint spot, it would have a bit of a raised surface because the paint is quite thick. So because these come out to be a little bit thicker, well, I mean, you know, I guess depending on how much paint you use. This one doesn't have any paint in it. This one has a Stampin' Up! Re-inker, and there was a time when I wanted a blue to do some splotches with, and I didn't have a blue mist. So I just put some Stampin' Up! Re-inker in there, along with a little bit of water, and just use that for my splotches that time. So you can put a whole bunch of different things in these what are they called? Mini Misters. I always call them Mr. Misties, which is a treat at Dairy Queen. That's not what they are. And then if you wanted to make bigger splotches, you can use one of these ink droppers. So you could just kind of like take the nozzle out, put this in, suck up some, and then just kind of drop it wherever you want it to go on your project. And this gives you bigger drops, and they kind of, like, if you drop them from a distance, it kind of like goes, and then like little ink spray comes out from the splatter too. So that's kind of cool. I don't use those very much because they're unpredictable, and I'm a fast scrapper, so I want to just kind of like get it done, and I don't want to have to worry about having to go back and fix something that didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. So I don't use those very much for scrapbooking, but I will use them for mixed media projects where it doesn't have to be so perfect. So those are some of the products that you can use for getting the ink splatters on your layout. Thanks for your question, Cindy. And then the Sunny Smash is a user who asked a question if I could show my Smash book. And I never talk about Smash books, so I'm not sure how the Sunny Smasher knew that I have one. But this is my Smash book, and I haven't used it in forever. I have one of the original, and I called it Smash 52 because I was going to do, way back in 2011 when I started thinking about doing a Project Life type of project, I decided that I would do a Project Life within a Smash book instead. And so I'll flip through and show you what I have, but it's pretty old, and it's from August of 2011, and I haven't done anything in it for a long time, but I will show you since you're interested. So, I don't know if you can see that. Yep. So there's like a lot of writing on one page, on the start page, and then I have a little envelope here. Maybe I should show this on a different kind of a video. Yeah. Hang on. Oh yeah, if I stand I can see it better. And then I have like, so I don't know what that is, but just some stuff. And then I was going to paint my craft room yellow, and look, I did. And then I have a week here of, we were counting down to our Disney trip, and this must have been after Christmas, I think. And then some more things. This is a picture that one of my clients drew of me on my whiteboard, and I just snapped a picture of it because it was cute. She got my sweater perfectly. And then just kind of like lots of layered printables. These were Becky Higgins printables that I bought and layered around. I did like a lot of journaling on both of these. It's kind of like, I used it as, and then this is just like stuff I like. I was really into bracelets then. And I don't know what some of this is. Some of it is like planning for a future. My daughter rode a horse. Yeah, I have like things all through this. Yeah, so that's my Smashbook. It's kind of like an abandoned project. My poor Smashbook. But anyways, if you were interested in how I smashed, that's how I smashed when I did smash. It was fun, but I found that I just couldn't do both Project Life and that. So once I decided to take the plunge for Project Life and place my order, I just decided to stop doing that. So I might pick it up again some other day. So thanks for asking, Sunny Smash. Okay, so what I have here is my box where I keep my current layouts. It says right there, current layouts. And I'm just going to go through and find the one that is called Just Like Me. So what I usually do is every month when I finish up my blog and my YouTube videos and everything is kind of done, I go through this and I put all these into my scrapbook, but for the month until the new kit comes, I keep them like this. So she's talking about this layout. It's Corinne's Creations has this comment. It's more of a comment than a question. So I don't know if you guys saw this video, but when I made this layout, I really wanted to use this paper as the background paper, this kind of like white with the stars on it, but I was feeling badly about sacrificing this beautiful other side of this paper. And so Corinne's Creations, Corinne made a very good suggestion, which is that when she has this kind of a dilemma, what she does is she puts one layout on one side and then she'll just turn it over and scrapbook on the other side. And because you're putting it into a two-sided page protector, you can see, whoops, my little holiday style fell out. You can see both sides of it. So that's another really great solution. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I might if I still have an idea of how to use the back of that paper. But that's a really, really good idea. So thank you for that, Corinne. I hope I said your name right. And then Mary Tran was asking me what marker I use for marking on photos. And Mary is somebody who doesn't read my videos. She watches my videos frequently and is a frequent commenter. So thank you so much for all of your support, Mary. And almost any marker can mark on a photo. So this is a picture that I printed up for my December daily project, and I never did use it. And it's printed just at home, but you can write on processed photos that come from like a photo place like Walmart or Costco or wherever you get your pictures developed. And at first I was always using a slick surface writer for writing on photos, but then I learned that you can write with anything. So this is almost anything anyways. I mean, I guess you should try it on a little scrap. I keep some old photos that I printed but never did use just to the side, and sometimes I'll test different substances on photos to see what effect it has. So this is a Zig Millennium marker. It's just something I got in a Scraptastic kit a while ago, and it's pink. And if I write on this, you see I just did a little scribble there, and it actually dries really fast even though it's not a particularly fast drying marker. And you can use Zig writers, you can use these fine liners by Stettler. It's a red mark below. And again, things dry really quickly on photos. That's what this marker looks like. Stettler is my very favorite brand of marker, and I love these Tri Plus fine liners. They're one of my very, very favorite colored markers. They're great for journaling because it's such a fine line, and they come in so many vibrant colors. I really, really love these. So thanks for your question, Mary. And then A.M. Warmack asked me questions about sewing. I think she said that she had just received a sewing machine for Christmas or something. And you guys might be able to see three, yeah, you can see 3 sewing machines in this video right now. It's like a find it. By the way, somebody mentioned that they were happy that my scrap room was so messy in my last video. Look at it in this video. It's really, really messy, so you're gonna love this one. I just can't clean up. I just can't right now. I keep coming down here to clean up my scrap room, and I end up doing some project that ends up making it messier. So anyways, I'm just not in a cleanup kind of mood right now. So A.M. Warmack asked me some tips about getting started with sewing on paper. And my biggest tip is just jump in and start sewing. There's a couple of things that you need to be careful about though. The first one is do not sew over glue because glue, or limit. I do sew over glue with that sewing machine right there. Look, this is a test of hand-eye coordination and head coordination. I'm going to move my head that way and move my hand that way. There. That sewing machine right there is my little craft sewing machine. It's a half-size Kenmore, and it's only like under $100 at Sears. And so I'm not as concerned about, I mean, obviously I don't want to break it, but I'm not as concerned about sewing on glue and stuff. So I will sew over small amounts of ATG, and I will sew over stickers, and I'll sew over thickers with that sewing machine, but I try not to. So if I know I'm going to sew on something, I try to put adhesive in the place that the sewing line won't be. Just because the glue will get on your needle, and then as your needle goes in and out of your machine, it can goop up the insides of your machine, and I think that it can just be cleaned. Like, I think if that happens, you just go and get it serviced and it's fine. But also the other thing to keep an eye out for is that your needle will actually get goop on it, and you can actually I take a baby wipe and I just pull the goop off of it. Like, I just pull it down to the point of the needle, and it just comes right off the end. And so that's probably a good thing to do just to maintain your sewing machine, is to give the needle a little wipe after you use it. Paper will dull your needle a lot faster than fabric will, so you'll definitely want to replace your needle frequently when you're using it with paper. And you'll probably, if you're using it for both paper and sewing, you'll probably want to change the needle before you do any fabric sewing, because your needle won't be sharp enough if you've been using it on paper. I think that's really it, right? Like, it's just kind of like doodle with it and have fun and try different lengths of stitches and that sort of thing. But there's really no rules for like sewing on your layouts. Just do it. Or at least I don't think there's any rules. I don't know about them if there are. So that sewing machine over there, the bigger one in the back right there, is my more expensive sewing machine. It's not terribly expensive either, but I use that one for sewing fabric, and so I will only really use that sewing machine on paper if that one is is not working, or I don't have it with me for some reason, which never really happens. But I have, when the little one was not working for a while, I did use the other one once or twice, but I try not to, just because I don't want it to get gooped up. This one down here, wait a minute, this one down here on the floor beside me, right there, is an old Singer sewing machine that my mom gave me, and it was a workhorse. It really worked really, really well, but then it just stopped working. This was about 2 years ago, I think, and I'm really reluctant to get rid of it just because it's nice and it's sturdy, and it did so well when it did so. So I'm thinking about just getting it serviced, but I'm not entirely sure if I'm just gonna kind of give it away or let somebody else do that. I don't know. So thanks for your question, A.M. Warmack. And then Linda Robinson is requesting more double pagers. So thank you for your request. I'm going to try to do that soon. I'm not a big double page scrapbooker, but I know that a lot of you out there are. So I try to throw a double pager in every couple of months. And I know I haven't been real good at that lately. I did one, I think, in the summer. I know I did a couple of beach layouts that were doubles, and I sometimes will do a 1.5 page where I'll do like a 12 by 12 and then a 6 by 12 beside it to do the journaling on. And so I'll try to do something like that really soon for you, Linda, and for everybody else out there. Oh, right. Tracy Zook left a really funny comment. I want to read it. So Tracy Zook left a comment on this Always Be Merry layout, which there's a process video for. And she said, love the Miss Star sprinkle combo, and the title came out well. Not obsessing over the holes from the staples. I think I would have had to layer something over it. And she said, which I think probably would have made it worse. Well, maybe not, Tracy. Yeah, what she's talking about, let me see if I can show you this. I gotta find it myself first. So right here, I had stapled this Be Merry down here, and then I moved it up to there, and you see those little holes, and I think Tracy watches a lot of my videos, and she knows me well, because sometimes I do obsess over those sorts of things. I'm kind of like, oh, then I had these holes, and I had to find something to put over them. But for this layout, I just didn't. I don't know why. I just liked it the way it was, and I thought, so what if there's some holes in it? It doesn't really matter. I don't know, I'll show you a close-up, and you know, if it mattered to you, then you could probably find something to cover it up with, but it didn't matter to me, so I just left it. And sometimes that has more to do with my mood than anything else. Sometimes at the time I'll be like, oh, who cares about that? And then when I go to put these layouts away in my scrapbook, I notice it and I'm like, oh my gosh, why didn't I cover that? And then I'll cover it or do something. Sometimes I still just leave it because it's okay for things to not be perfect. Yeah, so that's it. Thanks, Tracy. What's next here? I'm almost done. Oh, right. This one might take a while to answer, so I'm going to skip over that one, and then I'll come to my second last one, which is from Lily Scraps. She wanted to know whether I'm on the Scraptastic design team or if I just buy the kits and really like them. Both. I buy them, I used to buy them and really like them, and then I was asked to join the design team, so I did, and I love working there because I love the kits. I would be buying them anyways, and so it's just really nice, and they're a fun group of ladies to work with, and very talented, and I'm very honored to be part of that team because there are some really great scrapbookers who I really admire and respect who are on that team, so I'm just really humbled and happy to be able to have a chance to work with them. So the last question, the one that I saved for last, is from Robin's Nursing Journey, and she's asking me questions about my tripod, lights, and voiceover, and basically she's wanting to start to do some process videos to share with her viewers, and wanted to ask me some tips on how she can get set up. So I'm going to show you that. It's right behind me. You can see it right there. My tripod sits on my table, and I'm going to go over and maybe I'll get it. So, okay, hang on. Before I do that, I just want to show you that I do have a large light right here. This is a photography light, and it's called a constant light, I think it's called. And so it has like 3 really high-powered light bulbs in there that are actually really expensive to replace. So I try to not leave it on too much, but it's an expensive light. Like, it's not just like a household light. Let me see if I can show you how it's attached to my ceiling. So I don't actually have a finished ceiling, so you can see that it's just kind of like my husband put a piece of wood so that it's like hanging down into the room, and then there's a clamp that the light comes with, and I think that might be a separate clamp that the light didn't come with, but it's a piece of photography equipment, and then the light just kind of goes and hangs down like that. So that's the lighting that I use, and it's very bright and very harsh, and that's why sometimes when I have reflective surfaces, it throws off the exposure on my camera. So I'm going to get my tripod and show you guys. So I do have a tripod, a video where I talk about this tripod in detail, so I'll leave the link to that in this video, but basically it has this arm on it that swings, and it kind of like, it can go like that, and then like that, and then this thing here is the ball head, and you can put your camera anyway, but I obviously pointed down so that it's like right above my work surface. And then when I'm videotaping, I just turn it like this. Let me open the... And then you can see my floor and my chair that I have it leaning on. And then I can kind of see myself. And when I sit down to scrap, I just turn it like that so that I can kind of look up and see what I'm doing. And when I'm standing to scrap, I just have it like that. And I do sit and stand when I'm scrapbooking. I showed my camera last time, and that just sits there. This, if you're wondering what this is, it is because I have cats, this tripod is pretty stable, but there's a lot of weight over here with the camera, and if my cats were running around on my table when I'm not around, or even when I am around, it could, like, if it gets knocked the right way, then this will fall right on the camera. And so I just have this big ball of garbage bags to use as a, it's like a big tube of garbage bags, and I just use it as a weight to keep this most of the weight over here, so that even if the cat does kind of bump it, it's not going to go anywhere. So that's my tripod and my light setup. And I do have a video on my blog under the resource section that talks about the tripod in quite a bit more detail on how I set it up and stuff, so you can have a look at that. So then the other question that I think she has is, how do I do my voiceovers and what program do I use? So for my voiceovers, I use these Logitech, this Logitech headset, and it has like a little microphone here, and you just put it down so that you're not breathing in it, so you put it kind of close to your chin. So I look kind of like this when I'm doing it. And I just kind of talk. So, and I think these aren't very expensive, like they might be $20 or something. And the software that I use is, because I use Apple products, I use iMovie, which just comes with a Mac. And it's really great, but well, guys, I tried to switch over to iMovie 10? No. Yeah, iMovie 10, and I do have it on my computer, and I used it for one video, but there's a bit of a learning curve for iMovie 10, and I am so familiar with iMovie 9, which is also known as iMovie 11, which is totally confusing because it came out in 2011, apparently. Anyways, I'm so familiar with iMovie 9, and I can do things like that, and it only takes me like a second to do anything that I need to do. I just can't make the jump over to... I have it on my computer, and I've used it once or twice, and I've fiddled with it, but I just can't move over to it. I'm sure that if I just made the decision to do it, it would be easy. The good thing about iMovie 10 is that you can multitask, and iMovie is a really easy program to use. If you don't have a Mac, though, I don't have any alternatives to suggest because I'm just not familiar. Like, I'm not into video making or anything. Like, it's not something that I know anything about. So I'm not really up on what the options are, because I just found something that worked for me. It just happens that the one that comes with the Mac is easy to use. So I guess you'll have to look elsewhere for some ideas about software for non-Mac video editing, but there are people on YouTube who do scrapbooking videos who don't use Macs. So I don't know if you want to just kind of ask around some other people, or there might be somebody who has a video on how they do their videos. So I don't know. I do some digging on that if you don't have a Mac, because I know that there are easy programs on other systems. I just don't know what they are. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for all the kind comments that you've been leaving on my videos. And I just wanted to let you guys know that every time that you leave a comment, it comes to my email. And although I can't respond to it because you can't on mobile devices, and that's how I live, is on mobile devices. So I can't reply right away and say, oh, thanks for the great comment. I do get them, and I really, really appreciate them. They totally brighten my day, and I can't even tell you, like, there are actually times when, you know, life is happening and I'm feeling discouraged about something, and then I get this really nice comment about how my video brightens somebody's day or something like that. And it actually does, like, make me feel nice. So thank you. Thank you, everybody, for that. And yeah, so if you guys like these Q&As, I know this one is going to be really long. They're not always going to be this long, but if you guys like this version of Q&As. I'm happy to keep on doing it because it's kind of fun once I get over the camera shyness part of it, and the back and forth like opposites on the webcam. I'm happy to do more of these and maybe make it a bit of a like a little regular segment on my blog or on my YouTube channel. And so if anybody has any good ideas for what I could name this, oh wait a minute there, for anything that, for what I could name this segment, like I don't know what I might call it, but you know, I'm just calling it Q&A for now. But I'm interested in maybe finding a more creative title, but I'm just not able to come up with anything. So if you guys have any ideas, just let me know in the comments below, and I will try. I'll aim to do one every week or every 2 weeks or something like that, depending on how many questions I get. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have a great scrappy week. There's a process video coming soon, and it might already be up by the time you're watching this, or it might be coming up right after this. So take care.